vanguard, Penny Parker. Penny Parker may be young, but she bravely stands on the front lines to protect the web of life and destiny. Together, this teen prodigy and her state-of-the-art mech, the sensational Spider, or Spider as she calls it, make for the most thrilling duo on the battlefield. After the death of her father, Penny Parker inherited the experimental mech suit known as Spider. In order to control the suit, Penny had to allow herself to be bitten by an irradiated arachnid that controls its CPU, forming a psychic bond between them. Now Penny and Spider keep the people of Shin Shibuya safe, just like her father did before her. But their mission is bigger than just one city. Since the time stream entanglement, Penny and Spider have devoted themselves to the protection of the web of life and destiny and the countless realities it connects. Tokyo by night. It sure would be easy to be sad, thought Penny Parker as she climbed out of the hot springs and got ready for her next patrol. She'd lost her parents and the world that had been completely turned upside down because some guy named Doom has scrambled all of time, ruining the web of life and destiny, or whatever. And if that wasn't bad enough, she was in Tokyo and was set to miss every high school event in New York for the next forever. Seriously heavy stuff, but at least she would get to skip finals. She had also had a lot of time to put her dad's spider mech through its paces and work in his old lab. It wasn't easy letting herself be bitten by a radioactive spider, but Penny would have done it 100 times over to be able to follow in her dad's footsteps. Now she is linked to Spider, fighting bad guys and protecting not just Tokyo, but the entirety of time and space. Plus there's this chronovinium stuff everywhere. What even is that? She knew people were after it, but what did it do exactly? She'd run some experiments that suggested it was like crystallized time, but that didn't explain much. Next time Penny took Spider in for maintenance and upgrades, she planned to spend a little more time figuring out exactly what chronovinium could do. Life was a lot better when you focused on the positive. She needed to remind herself of that from time to time, because she spent a lot of her time fighting a whole slew of weirdos from other timelines that probably didn't even know they were threatening the collapse of all time and space. Or were they? Those details weren't always clear to Penny, but she loved hearing the Master Weaver and his apprentice, Spider Zero, argue about it. And she knew that when push came to shove, as it often had since the time stream entanglement, she and Spider would defend the web, even on the mundane patrol missions like the one she was starting just now. That meant defending both the Master Weaver and Spider Zero, who were always so preoccupied with mending and weaving that they pretty much never noticed when they were about to be attacked. Like, right now. A single Doombot angled toward the Nexus at the heart of the web of life and destiny. The Master Weaver never noticed. Penny did though, and she had a plan. Spider, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think so, Brain, but how are we supposed to get the hippo into the bikini?
Spider was. Penny tensed and Spider leapt away from the web strand she'd been sitting on, falling toward the Doombot. She had to time this just right, or it would be a long fall to the ground somewhere in Shinjuku. Spider might be able to handle the fall, but the shock of the landing wouldn't do Penny any good. But her timing, as it turned out, was perfect. The Doombot noticed her far too late, just as she had shot her own webs out from Spider's spinnerets and used web strand to snap her around in a long arc. The Doombot barely turned around when Spider slammed into its feet first. Sparks shot from its chassis and bits of armor plating stuck to nearby strands of the web as Doombot tumbled away into the neon-speckled darkness below. Penny finished off the maneuver with a perfect thruster-assisted double somersault that landed her on the upper strand of the web, close enough to the Nexus where she could see both the Master Weaver and Spider Zero. They were talking and Penny didn't want to interrupt, so she hung upside down just because until Spider Zero headed out onto one of the web strands, making little repairs as she went. Penny noticed Spider Zero removing stuck bits of Doombot armor on her way and felt a little guilty. But hey, she had done what a hero had to do, protect the web. Still, did either Doom, ever run out of those things? I suspect not, a familiar voice said by her side, and Penny jumped. It was the Master Weaver. Hey, Penny said, did you just read my mind? Not exactly. I sensed a certain vibrations in the web and they suggested to me what you were thinking. Right, Penny said. Same diff. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you. I've been doing some experiments in my dad's lab, my lab now, and chronovinium. Wow, what is that stuff anyways? Here, it has become part of the web, the Master Weaver replied, but all things are ultimately part of the web. Which was a super Master Weaver-like thing to say, but didn't really bring a lot of clarity to the situation. Before Penny could rephrase the question, the Master Weaver had passed on to another part of the web. She decided to take the same question to Spider Zero. Also, she wanted to know if anybody knew when Doom was going to attack the web himself. That seemed like a near certainty, since they were just about always Doombots around, but nobody ever wanted to talk about it. Penny didn't know whether that was because they didn't know or didn't want to tell her because she was a kid or some other stupid reason. But she felt pretty strongly that Doom attacking the web was the logical next step for him. Either of them. They had to be ready. As she approached Spider Zero, Penny was baffled to see the Weaver's apprentice doing something with paper? At this distance, it was hard to tell. She vaulted over onto another strand, then another, zigzagging until she got close enough to Spider Zero that she could see Spider Zero dropping little pieces of chronovinium into some of the portals that existed around the Nexus. The chronovinium in the web was kind of sticky. It looked like Spider Zero was, she was writing something on pieces of paper and then sticking those pieces of paper to chronovinium. "Hey," Penny called when she was close enough, "what are you writing?" "A message to another version of myself," Spider Zero said. "How do you know where to find other versions of yourself?" "That's part of what the Master Weaver is teaching me," Spider Zero said. "I can listen in on an infinite number of other worlds and futures. Sometimes I can even," she made a conducting motion with both hands, "influence them a little." "So you could do something about Doom or the time string entanglement?" Penny's thoughts drifted to maybe even saving her father, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. Was it even possible? And if he came back, would Penny just be a regular person again? It would be worth it. Spider Zero was watching her as if she could see the emotional tug-of-war going on in Penny's mind. "Well, possibly, but that is if you'll forgive the expression, a very tangled web. Tugging one strand will have all kinds of unpredictable effects. I wouldn't take any action until I've had more time to trace the path of each strand." "How much time?" "Don't know. More than we've got with so much happening." "Okay, so anyway, there are more Doombots climbing the web to get you and the Master Weaver." Penny had just spotted them, jetting upward from the ground. Spider Zero looked down. "Uh-huh," she said. She scribbled something on a piece of paper and stuck it to the bit of chronovinium. Then she pushed that through a tiny portal that opened briefly like a soap bubble by her hand. The minute she pushed the message through, the portal was gone. A split second after that, all three Doombots were gone too, swallowed up by a larger version of that portal that appeared around them, then blinked out of existence. "Whoa!" Penny said. "That's definitely cooler than what I did." "Oh, it's not a competition," Spider Zero said. "We all protect the web in our own ways." "Speaking of that," Penny said, "you guys know that sooner or later, Doom is going to get sick of sending Doombots, and when he does, he'll show up to finish the job himself." "Wouldn't surprise me," Spider Zero said. "So, should we, maybe do something about it?" "What makes you think we aren't?" Penny groaned. "You sound more and more like Weaver every day." Spider Zero smiled. "He's teaching me a lot. You too, I think. You've grown a lot since you started protecting the web." This had Penny feeling pretty good about herself until she looked up and saw Spider Zero right there next to her. "I have to repair that," Spider Zero said, pointing at the dangling strands of the web Penny had accidentally snapped while fighting the Doombot. "I had to," Penny protested. "I know," Spider Zero said. "I'm not angry. I just have to repair the web. That's what I do. That's who I am. And without the web..." It was Penny's turn to say, "I know." After the time string entanglement, the web was more important than ever. It wasn't just the Dooms they had to worry about, but any other dimension-hopping villain or creature might appear at any moment to destroy the web or the Weaver. Or they might try to destroy Tokyo or Japan or the world or all worlds. But none of that was going to happen while Penny Parker was on patrol. That should be a banner, she thought. "Penny Parker, on patrol." How cool would it be to have her own banner that followed her around, and maybe her own sound effects? A synthesized soundtrack? Even better! She started composing the tune in her head, and Spider leapt and climbed among the endless strands of the web. Soon enough, she had Spider Zero back where she belonged. She looked down on the city, then up at the vastness of the web and the universe beyond it. "I wish my father could have seen this." "My father is also dead," Spider Zero said, pausing for a moment in her work. "But I think he would be proud of the work I do." "Same for you." Well, that gave Penny a little twinkle in her heart. This hero business wasn't just about the fights, it could make you feel good sometimes too. Symbiote Bond. When a symbiote bonds with its host, it leaves behind a permanent remnant, a codex in the host's body, Since both Peter and Penny Parker have experienced these alien bonds, it makes it very easy for them to tap into the symbiote's power, including Venom's. But it also puts these heroes in danger of falling under the influence of the Clintar hive mind. We do not worry about you using our powers, Parkers. What we worry about is Null using yours against us.